Welcome to our video tutorial for Quarter 3, Week 3 in Mathematics 9. Again, this is Teacher Mael at your service. For our discussion, you may refer to your modules. First, let us discuss the midline theorem. We will go back with our discussion on triangles and trapezoid. On triangle, we will discuss about the midline theorem, and for the trapezoid, we will discuss about the mid-segment theorem. Let us consider first the following definition of terms so that we will be reviewed and recalled, and we can apply this in our later discussion. First, we have a triangle. Remember that this is a polygon with 3 edges and 3 vertices. And we have also trapezoid. It is a quadrilateral with exactly one pair of opposite sides parallel. We have also segment. Segment is a portion of a line that has 2 endpoints. Example of that is segment AB, as you can see in the figure. We have also midpoint. A midpoint is a point that is halfway the line given the 2 points. In the given line AB, point C there is the midpoint. It divides AB into 2 equal parts. So therefore, we can say that AC is equal to CB. We have the midline, the segment that joins the midpoint of 2 sides of a triangle. And we have also median, a segment joining the midpoints of the legs of a trapezoid. So for triangle, we have midline, and for the trapezoid, we have median. The midline theorem of triangle. It states that the segment that joins the midpoints of 2 sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half as long. So let us consider triangle ABC. As you can see, point D is the midpoint of side AC, and point E is the midpoint on side AB. And if we're going to connect the 2 midpoints, the point D and E, this segment DE is considered as the midline. And DE is parallel to side CB. And if we're going to base on the midline theorem, we can say that the length of DE is equal to 1/2 of the length of segment CB. And to understand more about midline theorem and triangle, let us consider this example. In triangle MCG, A and I are the midpoints of MG and CG respectively. Now let us consider each given information and answer the questions that follow. So we have there, number 1, if AI is equal to 10.5, what is the length of MC? The answer is 21. How did you solve for MC? By applying midline theorem. Since AI is 1/2 of MC, so we have to multiply 10.5 times 2, and that is equal to 21. Question number 2. If CG is equal to 32, what is the length of GI? The answer is 16. How did you solve for GI? By applying the definition of midpoint. Since I is the midpoint of CG, so that means it divides side CG, which is equal to 32, into 2 equal parts. So meaning 32 divided by 2 is equal to 16. So IG is equal to 16, IC is also equal to 16. Question number 3. Given you have their AG is equal to 7 and CI is equal to 8. What is MG plus GC? The answer is 30. How did you solve for the sum? By definition of midpoint, MG is equal to twice the length of AG. So 2 times 7 is equal to 14 because A there is the midpoint. And GC is equal to twice the length of CI because I there is the midpoint. So 2 times 8 is equal to 16. So MG is 14 and GC is 16. To sum up, the sum is 30. So therefore, the sum of side MG and side GC is 30. That is by definition of midpoint. Number 4. Given you have there AI is equal to 3x minus 2 and MC is equal to 9x minus 13. What is the value of x? Remember that 1/2 of MC is equal to the value or to the length of AI. So we are going to use this equation in finding x. So we have 1/2 of MC is equal to AI. Let us substitute the given value. So we have 1/2 times the value of MC, which is 9x minus 13, is equal to the value of AI, which is 3x minus 2. Or we can write it this way, 9x minus 13 all over 2 is equal to 3x minus 2. And to simplify, we are going to eliminate the 2 in the denominator. So what we're going to do is to multiply both sides of the equation by 2. So that one, and then we can eliminate. So we have here 9x minus 13 is equal to 6x minus 4. So let us combine similar terms. So we have there 9x minus 6x, and you copy negative 4, then your negative 13 transpose to the other side, that will become positive 13. So 9x minus 6x is equal to 3x, and negative 4 plus 13 is equal to positive 9. And divide both sides of the equation by 3, so therefore our x is equal to 3. Letter B. What is the sum of AI and MC? So since we already have the value of x, which is 3, so let us find the value or the length of AI. So let us substitute 3x minus 2 is equals to 3 times the value of x, which is 3 minus 2. So 3 times 3 is 9 minus 2 is equal to 7. So therefore AI is equal to 7. And MC is equal to 9x minus 13. Substitute the value of x, which is 3. So you have there 9 times 3 equals 27 minus 13. So you have there 14. So the sum of AI and MC is equal to 21. Number 5. Given we have their MG is congruent to CG and AG is equal to 2y minus 1 and IC is equal to y plus 5. What is the value of y? Remember that MG is congruent to CG, and we consider point A and point I as the midpoint. So therefore, we can say that segment AG is congruent to segment IC. That is by definition of congruent segment. Now to solve for y, let us substitute the given values of AG and IC. So we have here 2y minus 1 is equal to y plus 5. So we substituted the given value for AG and value of IC in the given. Simplify. So you have there 2y minus y. So combine all similar terms. The one with y's is equal to 5 plus. So you transpose negative 1 to the right side. So that will become positive 1. So 2y minus y. So you have there 1y or y is equal to 5 plus 1, 6. So therefore, the value of y is equal to 6. Letter B. How long are MG and CG? Now, to solve for the length of MG, let us find first the length of AG because AG is 1/2 of MG. So, since AG is equal to 2y minus 1, so substitute the value of y, which is equal to 6 in our previous solution. So, substitute 2 times 6 is equal to 12 minus 1 is equal to 11. So, since AG is equal to 11, so which means that MG is equal to twice the length of AG. So, therefore, MG is equal to 2 times the measure of AG is equals to 2 times 11, and therefore, MG is equal to 22. And to find the length of CG, we will consider the length of segment IC. Since IC is equal to y plus 5, so substitute the value of y, which is equal to 6, plus 5, so your IC is equal to 11. And since CG is equal to twice the length of your IC, so you have 2 times 11 is equals to 22. So therefore, we really prove that MG and CG are both equal to 22 because it is already given that MG is congruent to CG. Let us focus on the mid-segment theorem of a trapezoid. Now, it is stated in the theorem that the median of a trapezoid is parallel to each base and its length is 1/2 of the sum of the lengths of the bases. Now, let us consider the trapezoid FAME here with point U and S as the midpoints. Now, if we're going to connect the two midpoints here, we have here segment US. And this segment US here is what we call median. And to solve for the length of US, that is equal to 1/2 of the sum of the two bases. And what are these two bases? We have EM and FA. So US is equal to 1/2 of the sum of EM plus FA. Let us consider this example. So we are going to refer to trapezoid EFGH with median IJ. Question number 1. If HG is equal to 10 and EF is equal to 30, how long is IJ? Remember that IJ there is the median. And to solve for the median, that is 1/2 of the sum of the two bases. So IJ is equal to 20. So for the solution, we have there IJ is equal to 1/2 of the sum of the two bases, which are EF and HG. Substitute the value of EF, which is 30, and substitute the value of HG, which is 10. So 30 plus 10 is equal to 40, and 1/2 of 40 is equal to 20. So therefore, IJ is equal to 20. Number 2. If IE is equal to 12, how long is HI? The answer is 12. Where did we base our answer? Since point I is the midpoint of side HE, therefore we can say that IE is just equal to side HI. That is by definition of midpoint. Number 3. If GF is equal to 50, then what is the length of JF? JF is equal to 25 because point J here is the midpoint. So it divides GF into two congruent segments. So JF is 25 and JG is also equal to 25 because of definition of midpoint. Number 4. If GJ is equal to 8, how long is GF? Of course, it measures 16 because GJ is 8 and JF is also 8 and JJ is 1/2 of GF. So 8 times 2 is equal to 16. Question number 5. If HG is equal to 20 and IJ is equal to 24, find the length of base EF. Now, we all know that IJ is the median and that is equal to 1/2 of the sum of the two bases. So, we have here our equation. IJ is equal to 1/2 times the quantity EF plus HG. Or we can write it this way. IJ is equal to the quantity EF plus HG all over 2. To eliminate the denominator 2, so we are going to multiply both sides of the equation by 2. So we can cancel the 2 there, the one outside, and the one in the denominator. So we only have 2 times IJ is equal to EF plus HG. So to solve for EF, so we are going to subtract HG to 2 twice of IJ. So we have here our equation. EF is equal to 2 times the quantity of IJ minus the value of HG. So substitute the value of IJ, which is 24, and substitute the value of HG, which is 20. So simplify. 2 times 24 is 48 minus 20. So therefore, your EF is equal to 28. Now to check if our answer of EF is correct, so we are going to prove that IJ, which is the median, is equal to 1/2 of the sum of the two bases. So we have there IJ is equal to 1/2 of the sum of HG plus EF. So substitute the value of HG, which is 20, and value of EF, which is 28. So 20 plus 28 is equal to 48, and 1/2 of 48 is 24, which is the given value of IJ. So therefore, we have proved, or we are correct, that the value of EF there is equal to 28. Next to discuss is about trapezoid. So we have here isosceles trapezoid. It is a trapezoid wherein the two non-parallel sides, which are the legs, are congruent. So in this isosceles trapezoid A, B, C, D, the legs here are AD and BC. So meaning legs AD is congruent to leg BC. Now let us discuss one by one the theorems of an isosceles trapezoid. Number 1. The base angles of an isosceles trapezoids are congruent. In the given isosceles trapezoid ABCD, the bases are AB and DC. So our base angles are, we have here angle A and angle B, angle D and angle C. Now, since it is stated in the theorem that base angles of an isosceles trapezoids are congruent, so therefore we can say that angle A is congruent to angle B and angle D is congruent to angle C. Theorem number 2. Opposite angles of an isosceles trapezoid are supplementary. So in the given trapezoid above, opposite angles are angle A and angle C, angle B and angle D. Now, if they are supplementary, therefore we can say that if we're going to add the measure of angle A and the measure of angle C, their sum must be 180 degrees. The same thing with the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle D, which is also equal to 180 degrees because opposite angles of an isosceles trapezoid are supplementary. Theorem number 3. The diagonals of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. So in the given trapezoid, the diagonals are AC and DB. So therefore we can say that AC is congruent to DB. Another quadrilateral that we have to focus is the kite. Remember, it is a quadrilateral with two pairs of congruent and adjacent sides. So, in the given kite JKLM, the congruent sides are side JK and side KL, side JM and side LM. Now, let us discuss the theorems on kite. Theorem number 1 on kite. In a kite, the perpendicular bisector of at least one diagonal is the other diagonal. So in the given kite JKLM, KM there is considered as a perpendicular bisector. So it bisects the other diagonal JL. So which means upon intersecting the two diagonals JL and KM, they form right angle. And diagonal KM bisect JL, so meaning it divides into two congruent segments. So JO there is congruent to OL. Another thing, your diagonal KM there bisect the opposite angles. So to mention the other parts that are congruent, we have their side JK and KL are congruent, side JM and side LM are congruent. And to the angles, we can say that angle JKM is congruent to angle LKM and angle JMK is congruent to angle LMK. Let us have this activity. Number 1. If JK is equal to 6, then what is KL? The answer is 6 because JK is just congruent to side KL. Question number 2. If JM is equal to 10.5, what is LM? That is still equal to 10.5 because JM is just congruent to side LM. Question number 3. If JL is equal to 18, then what is OL? OL is equal to 9 because OL is 1/2 of JL. Question number 4. If measure of angle JKO is equal to 55, then what is the measure of angle JKL? The answer is 110 because JOK is 1/2 of angle JKL. So 55 plus 55, that is 110 degrees. Question number 5. If measure of angle JML is equal to 39 degrees, what is the measure of angle OML? The answer is 19.5 degrees because KM bisect angle JML, so it divides angle JML into two congruent angle, or it divides into two angles. So we have there angle JMO and angle OML. So since it is divided into 2, so 39 divided by 2, so we have there 19.5 degrees for angle OML. Theorem number 2 on kite. The area of a kite is half the product of the lengths of its diagonal. So therefore, when finding the area of a kite, area is equal to 1/2 of diagonal 1 times the diagonal 2. Now let us consider the example here. We have here kite hope or kite HOPE. If diagonal HP is 15 centimeters and diagonal OE is 25 centimeters, then find the area of kite hope. Now, let us consider that diagonal HP be our diagonal 1 and OE be our diagonal 2. To solve for the area of hope, so we have here 1/2 times the product of HP and OE. substitute the value of HP, which is 15 cm, and the value of OE, which is 25 cm. So 15 times 25, so you have there 375 centimeters squared. But since we still have to get the half or 1/2 of 375, so divide it by 2. So therefore, the area of Kite Hope is 187.5 centimeter square. So there must be a square unit because we are looking for the area. I hope you learned many things from this video. Just continue studying. It's because sa math, ang buhay ay aangat. Thank you for watching.